I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Khalid Khan now. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Archana. Pharmaceutical product and the medical devices product and diagnostics, these are the products which are actually highly regulated by any government in the world. Not only in India, but in every country. If you see and go, you will find that the healthcare products are under very heavy regulations. The regulation starts from its manufacturing, starting from the manufacturing of the raw material to the manufacturing of the formulations to the sterilization, packaging, and then marketing, sales, wholesales, distribution, everything. So everything in pharmaceutical products, medical device, products, there is a very heavy regulations from the government side, and there are the laws, rules, and regulations which defined each and every aspect of regulation, and which are very, very well in place. And why the pharmaceutical products are so much in regulation? For a very simple reason, that the government ensures that the pharmaceutical products which reach to the public and the common man should be efficacious, safe, and should not be deteriorated, and it should cure or treat the patient for which it is designed for. That is the main objective. So to achieve that objective, that all the regulation had been made. Now when we talk about the regulations, so there are various regulatory bodies in India. So if we analyzed in generals, there are you see the regulation in the pharmaceutical and medical devices products are at a two different level in India. One is the federal or central level, and another is a state level. The federal level or the central level is known as, that office is known as CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organizations, which is actually headed by the Drugs Controller General India. And this head office also has zonal offices, like we have it in North Zone offices in Ghaziabad. Then headquarter we have, of course, in Delhi. Then in South Zone we have it in Chennai. Then again we have West Zone in Mumbai, and then East Zone in Calcutta. Beside this, we have regional offices which are based at Hyderabad, then Bangalore, and then Ahmedabad, then Chandigarh, and of course in Guwahati or in Northeast also we have one. So these are the zonal and regional offices. And beside this, we have the drug controller department in each and every state, which comes under the jurisdiction of the state government of that state. Either that department is known as drug controller department of that state. It is usually headed by a drug controller of that state, or a commissioner. For example, in Maharashtra, it is the commissioner FDA who heads that department. Similarly is the case in Andhra Pradesh. But in other states, it is headed by the drugs controller of that state. So these are the two levels. Now the basic difference between the two is in terms of their organogram and their accountability and responsibility. When we see from our perspective, what we should understand how they function is that Drug Controller General India office, beside the zonal and regional offices, they also have the port offices. Wherever there is a entry, port entry into our country, it's Delhi Airport, Mumbai, Chennai, and then in Calcutta, they have the Central Drug Controller General offices is there for the clearance of the various import and export shipments of pharmaceuticals and medical devices. So the basic functions of the CDSCO or the Drugs Controller General India office is to approve the new drugs, and to do the approvals for the clinical research and clinical trials on new drugs. Then also to register all the pharmaceutical products which are to be marketed in India. Then also the Drug Controller General India also ensures the licensing part of all imported drugs. Then Drugs Controller General India also is responsible for making all the new policies on drugs and pharmaceutical in India. And then he is also responsible for registration of all the medical devices which are imported into country, and also see the licensing part of manufacturing, licensing part of the vaccines, various vaccines. Whereas the state drug controller ensures that all the licenses for manufacturing are being given for old drugs, then the retail and wholesale of the drugs and pharmaceutical are being regulated, and they also do the due diligence and the inspection on regular basis. These are the major function of the state drug controller department. As one of the major and most important function of the drug controller India is to approve the new drug. So the new drug, why we require it? We require it because of the unmet medical need, and because we need more efficacious and more safe drug. That's the reason the industry keep on discovering new and newer compound, newer drugs. And the newer compound and the drugs which are coming out, sometimes they are so technical in nature, in the sense they are not single molecule. They are very big chain of the amino acids and very complex in structure. So there is a challenge for the regulator also in this respect. When we discuss the new drug approval or new drug by the Drugs Controller General India, so how the new drug is approved? The new drug is approved first of all by our Drugs and Cosmetic Act. What we regulate is the clinical development program of the drug when it is administered in humans, not before that. What it means that, suppose if I as a company, I wanted to develop a drug, I can keep on working on it and do the toxicity study, the animal studies, the formulation development study. I will see to it that it became a capsule or injection or whatever. So that is those kind of studies, toxicity studies, those kind of study also take 5 to 6 years. So those studies are not covered under the regulation. So I am free to do that without any regulation. Once the drug is ready for the administration to the human subject, which we call it phase 1 clinical trial. At that stage, then I need to go to the Drugs Controller Department, DC, Drug Controller General India office, and then take the permission to do that clinical experiment first in human healthy volunteers. Then in phase 2 we do a small study in patients and find out the dose, and in third phase we do the study in one particular dose and cover the large number of patients. And based on the results of phase 3 clinical trials, what we do is that we submit the results, and the Drug Controller India then approve the drug for marketing. So this is how it takes place. Very briefly, I would like to explain what the phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 trials are. Phase 1 is when the drug is in the dosage form. Drug in dosage form means not the drug in salt. Drug either in capsules or in tablet or as injection is to be given to the normal human volunteers, and we see that the drug is not producing any harmful effect, and we see the safety of the drug. Then we draw the results out of that, and then we take the drug to the second phase level, which is known as clinical trial phase 2, in which the drug is divided into the three different dose level, and we give it to the patient population, small patient populations, and we see the effect.
Small patient
population, for example, we see the effects of that particular drug in say 30 to 40 patients, 30 to 40 or 50 patients
in hospitals.
In hospitals, of course. So we see that which dose gives the maximum effect of that drug.
It is safe?
Of course it is. The safety study had been already done. So we collect the data. We see that, okay, suppose we design the dose of say 30 milligram, then we design another dose of 90 milligram, then another dose of 270 milligram, and then the three doses are given to the patient. See that there is effect. Now we do the calculation after the results. Then we came out, okay, from the result it is evident that 90 milligram of the drug will be useful for treating the particular disease or disorders. Then what we do is that, and then we take the drug into phase 3 clinical trial, which is known as confirmatory clinical trials, where we include large number of patients, maybe 5,000 patient total, and then we do the studies and collect the data. So the data which is collected is such a huge, which gives lot of information about the efficacy of the product, about the side effect of the drug as well. And if the results are found to be satisfactory, then in that case, Drug Controller General India Office approve the drug. So once the approval is done, the approval is basically is not of a drug, it's only, it's the approval of a drug, then it is approval of that particular indication for which it is designed for which it is meant for. Then the third thing is it's approval for its dosage form, whether it is a tablet or injection or what. Then the fourth is it's the approval of a shelf life also. Then the fifth is the approval of a package insert. If you see any new drug, outer box, I mean the carton and or the box, you will find the leaflets into it, which is known as prescribing information, meant for the doctors or meant for the hospitals, which laid down the various characteristic of that particular product. For example, the product specification, label claim. Say for example, each tablet contain ibuprofen 500 milligram. So that means that the label claim means whenever we test the drug chemically through the HPLC, then it must have 500 milligram of ibuprofen. Then we see that in that particular leaflets or package insert we call it, there will be indications that such and such drug is approved for such and such a disease or indications. Then we see that there is a warning also is written that this drug should not be given to that the patient who is suffering from asthma, for example. Then we will also see that there are some precautions given to that leaflet. That drug is to be handled with care, or it should not be kept in a place where the children can take it. Likewise, there the packaging information would be there that this drug is packed in a blister of 10 tablets or 10 capsules, or in a box of 2 or 3 or whatever. So all these things, then the information about the side effect is given on that package insert. So the drug approval means the approval of a drug, the approval of its dose, the approval of its package insert, the approval of its shelf life, everything is included into that. So once the drug is introduced, it comes into the market, then it is available for the various patients. The doctor prescribe it, of course, based on the information which is available on the drug, promoted by the pharmaceutical company, and also doctor knows about that drug from the various journals or the references. They started prescribing it. Then the company do the phase 4 study, which is to be done in approximately 20,000 patients. The idea of phase 4 study is also known as post approval study. The idea of phase 4 study to collect the huge data on the safety of the product, that whether the drug is really safe in large number of the populations. And interestingly also, you will also be knowing that not only in our country, in other countries also, the drugs are banned even after the usage of 20 years or 30 years. Recently, Drug Controller General India Office, in consultation with the highest technical bodies and experts in the country, they have banned 6 drugs into India very recently, like sibutramine, R-sibutramine, or cisapride. These are the few drugs which phenylpropylamine. These are the 4 or 5 drugs which I am naming it right now.
मतलब कुछ ड्रग्स सुनते हैं बाहर बैन है, इंडिया में नहीं बैन है.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. Most of the drugs which are banned in developed countries like Europe, Japan, Australia and America, they are also banned in India. It is other way. I mean, there had been the case that some of the drugs, we cannot say drug, but some of the fixed dose combination. For example, we combine 2 drugs and make a 1 pill. Instead of 2 tablets, we are giving 1 tablet. So those kinds of products are very, very available in abundant in India. those kind of product may not be available in US. But it doesn't mean that they are not safe or not efficacious. They are also safe and efficacious, and the company have done the clinical trials of those fixed dose combination also in India. This is how the new drug is basically approved. And when we say new drug, to new drug means any drug which is not used in India, but it may be further divided into the two categories. The one category 1 is those drugs which are approved abroad but not approved in India. They are also new drugs. So in that case, when the company apply to the Drug Regulatory Authority, they will ask to do only the phase 3 bridging study in, say, for example, 400, 500 patient or 300 patient, depending on the drug to drug. And then the results are analyzed, and then it is a bridge with the already existing data of that drug overseas. And if it is found to be safe and efficacious in Indian population, then in that case the Drugs Regulatory Authority approves that drugs. The second category is of investigational new drug, means the drug, it's a compound which is not approved anywhere in the world. In India also it is not approved. So that falls under the category of investigational new drugs. In that case, our drug controller department says that you have to start the clinical research or clinical study from the phase 1 onward. You do the study in phase 1, then you do the study in phase 2, then you do the study in phase 3. So the progress of phase 1 to 2 to 3 is always depend on the results of the previous phase. Suppose the results of the phase 1 is found to be encouraging, then only the compound or the drug is to be taken on the phase 2. And if the phase 2 drug is found to be very effective in that particular indication, in that case that drug is to be taken on phase 3. And then the phase 3, if the results are found to be really good, then the Drug Controller India approves the drug for marketing, and the drug is now after that will be available in market. And once the drug is introduced, then the company do the phase 4 clinical trial and collect the huge data on safety in approximately 20,000 patients, and just see the safety of the drug. The purpose of phase 4 trial is just to see how much side effect the drug is giving and how they are taken care of, how they can be reported to the Drug Regulatory Authority. So those kind of studies are done after the drug is introduced. And when we talk of new drug, so as I told you that in India the clinical research is actually recently started after 2005-06, and now it had become the whole kind of a industry where a lot of thousands of people are employed. They are working closely with the investigators, doctors, helping them to carry out the clinical research as per the highest standard of the ethics and the professional capability. So this huge development in resources and manpower and our infrastructure in terms of hospitals and healthcare had been moved up and increased very, very significantly. That's the reason the clinical research, which we call it in pharmaceutical sciences as applied clinical research, is possible in India, and we are doing lot of clinical trial. For example, in any point of time, normally on the average, around 350 to 400 trials are going on always in India, which are most of the trials are regulated, but some of the trials may not be regulated because not that as per our Drugs and Cosmetic Act, not all the clinical research compound and the investigational product are regulated under the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. For example, if I want to do a trial of a cosmetic, I need not to go to the Drug Controller General India office for its approval. For example, if I want
cosmetics to do, भी क्या drugs में आती हैं?
No, cosmetics के rules and regulations हैं Drugs and Cosmetic Act में, but we need not to take permission for doing a clinical trial, or we need not to take a permission for a new cosmetic, or only thing is that I need to take a license of that cosmetic from that particular state where I have a manufacturing unit. That's all. But if we want to do a clinical trial of a nutraceutical product, then again, I need not to go to the Drug Controller General India office to do a trial. In such kind of a trial, what is most important is to take the approval of the trial from the ethics committee, which is constituted by that hospital or institute, and tell them that this is a non-regulated category of a product, not regulated by drug controller under the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, and show them the proof that it is so, it is a fact. So based on that, they will approve the clinical trial proposal. Of course, the clinical trial proposal should have a merits to do that, to carry out the study. It should not be just a waste, or so the trials are also of various kind, various types, and various designs and various sample size. Objective of the different trial is different. So it all depends on what kind of product you are being under the investigation. And there are so many factors which accounts for to carry out a good clinical trial. So the clinical research facility, infrastructure, manpower now is being developed, and it is further going up, and it is being developing very, very fast. And the next phase, next wave in pharmaceutical research, which I can foresee, is that would be going to be in the preclinical area, where you will find that in India there would be a lot of toxicity study center, lot of the centers or the company who are only working on new formulation development. There will be centers who will be designing the new drug, new biological product, or new biotechnology company who are working on a different kind of a drug therapy targets based on the biochemistry inputs. So these things, the preclinical things, will be the next wave which is going to come in our industry, in our research and pharmaceutical industry. And then after that, I am very hopeful, maybe 10-15 years from now, we will see that we will be in a position wherein we can say that there had been 10 discovery, or there had been 3 discovery or 5 discovery in this year in India, in the area of pharmaceutical and medical devices. So that is the precisely a reason we have not been able to discover a lot of new drugs in past, but now that I think in due course of time we may be able to do so. And the regulation, as you know, that the pharmaceutical Drugs and Cosmetic Act particularly, and the rules and the laws which are there not only in India but even abroad in other developing countries also, they are ever dynamic. They keep on changing. The new rules keep on coming. The new regulation keeps on coming. The very basic purpose of those amendments and those changes used to be the first priority of any government or any drug controller regulatory authority is the patient safety. They have to see that the patients, our population is safe from that drug. The drug should not be give any untoward serious effect. And if especially in the area of research, the proper consent, the proper information from the patients is to be taken by the sponsor and the investigator. The investigator should not compromise the principle of research. He should not falsify the results. So these are the very few basic things on which the regulation is focusing on and emphasizing on. The first and foremost and most important focus is the patient safety, whether the drug is approved for use, whether the drug is investigational under the clinical research program. So they have to see there is 100% safety of the patients, and the patient safety and ethics of research is not compromised. This is the the complete aspect of the drug, how the drug is discovered or researched in India. Another area which I will take very short time to discuss, the labeling part, which is very, very important in my opinion for all the students, especially to know how the labels are derived. Actually, labels and the outer carton and the labels of the drug also approved with the approval of a new drug.
Sure.
Yes. And why the label is important? Because the label is the one thing which is the face of a drug. So it gives you the very basic information, what the drug is, who is the manufacturer, or who is the importer, or when it is manufactured, when it is going to expire, and which is the batch number. So these are the very, very important and basic information. And above all, the most important information used to be the claim, label claim, that this particular drug contains what and how much. The label claim is important because when the drug is picked up for testing by the regulatory authority and it is sent to the government lab, then it must verify the label claim. It is very, very important. If it does not verify the label claim, then it means that the drug is not of standard quality, and then that company can be booked for under the provision of Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Not only that, you must have seen that on the label we have seen that after the drug name it is written that IP or BP or USP. What it means? IP means Indian Pharmacopoeia, BP means British Pharmacopoeia, then USP means United States Pharmacopoeia. Then Pharmacopoeia of European also is written sometimes. What does that signifies? That signifies that if the word IP is written, it means that this drug, if you IP, USP and BP, first of all I would like to tell you, they are the books basically. They laid down the standards of the drug, that how the drug is to be tested and what the drug should have, which kind of characteristic the drug should have. So when we say IP, so the drug is tested as per IP and it follows the claim of the IP. Then it means that it passes, or if it is not, it doesn't passes, then it's not of standard quality. So the labeling requirement of India also are very, very robust and informative and important from all angles.
Thank you very much.